Welcome into Trust the Process Live. We made the executive decision to come to you tonight instead of yesterday because, well, boys, we just wanted to watch baseball. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Got
Baseball
delayed
got,
and
definitely.
yeah. Oh wait, breaking news: the Flyers extend Travis Sanheim on a 8-year, $50 million deal. Oh my
We got
God, that's
Flyers
literally
news.
Seems a bit much. And that's
It's
talking
that
Flyers.
is ridiculous.
That's a lot of money in hockey. I don't know much. I know that's a lot of money in hockey.
That's a lot of money. And wow, you know what? We're so close to being perfect with how good the Union are. We're so close to being 5 for 5 across this city. And Comcast just really doesn't want us to enjoy hockey.
It's good.
That's pretty wild to me. Well, hey, it was starting out the news or the show with breaking news. That's different. Let's do intros and we'll get right into it. We got a lot to talk about. Josh Safran, Doc Lock, what's up, my man? Rochester bound? Are you in Philly? What's up?
Yeah, back in Doylestown, back in old Bucks County, PA for tonight. I looked at double digits houses in 2 days, but don't worry, I got to watch the Eagles game right at 4 on Sunday. So you know what, man, my brain's still recovering. Today's my recovery day. You go from Rochester and madness, you get a couple days of recovery, and then we're going to CBP tomorrow for the first playoff game in freaking 11 years. I cannot wait.
I'll be there on Sunday, boys. I'll be honest. Saturday. I'll be honest. That was the silver lining yesterday because I was kind of like, all right, they split the series, and I get to be there on Saturday. So
you watch what you wish for.
I know. Maximilian Coolish, the man of many digits, 5 digits in this case. That's how many wins the Eagles have. How are you?
I'm good, man. I'm ready to do it. Nothing like I feel like we're playing Tuesday night football, just like it's not regularly scheduled programming. Where, for the people, we're out here on a Thursday, squeezing in Trust the Process Live into our busy schedules. We do this for you.
I love it. An unenthusiastic live at that. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, let's talk about
Biggest concern with the Phillies going home 1-1. So as we all know, the Phillies took game 1 behind the unspectacular yet gritty performance by Ranger Suarez. Burned a couple bullpen arms the full game. The first game, they took the first game, and then behind Zach Wheeler and a terrible play from Rhys Hoskins, which we'll get into later. The Phillies were able to walk out of Atlanta with a split in the first 2 games. So, Josh, your biggest concern, what is it?
So, for the Phils, it's kind of odd to say because they've been doing pretty well, but my biggest concern is actually just simply put offense, and more specifically the offense at the top of that order. 1 and 2 have not been doing it for you. Bryce Harper has really come alive, but for some reason he's hitting 4th. I do like him and JT next to each other, but I almost feel like you can erase. If you were to erase 1 and 2 from the lineup and start JT, Bryce, Castellanos, Bohm, or whatever it would be, I wouldn't be as concerned. So look, I'm really interested to see tomorrow how Topper, messes with the lineup, because I'm assuming he will mess with the lineup. We can talk all day about Rhys Hoskins botching that ball at first. It was awful. But I think for anyone who has watched all the playoff games so far, I've been kind of impressed with the Phillies defense through this playoff stretch, honestly. Other than that one play by Rhys, Bohm has been pretty sure-handed over there in 3rd. We saw the Nick Castellanos catch, and having Marsh and Vierling in center field, they've gotten great jumps. There's been a lot of balls off the bat where I'm like, you got to get it could be a gapper. And Marsh and Vierling have made that look pretty easy. So I'm not going to come on here and panic about defense. I'm not going to come on here and panic about pitching. I mean, look, like you said, Ranger beat Max Fried, even though it wasn't in spectacular fashion. The bullpen looked pretty shaky, but that's going to happen to most teams when your bullpen needs to pitch for 4 innings. So all in all, I'm honestly worried about the offense. Their one big run production game against the Cardinals, that was all due to errors. And, look, I'll take that 7-run game against the Braves. I'm just pretty nervous about the what's the word I'm looking for? The replicability of that, because this is a team that is built off the long ball. They're yet to have one in this Braves series. Is the only one Bryce's solo shot for this team so far, if I'm not mistaken?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, so
yes.
While I'm not jumping out of my shoes, they've been pretty consistent. The offense is concerning. Where are these runs coming from? And It's just weird, man. It's weird not knowing who you're going up against on the mound less than 24 hours before the game in such a big game. So I just feel a little I feel a little uneasy about the offense, and I don't like how much pressure it's putting on the starting pitching. Even though, hey, I got no qualms with Wheeler yesterday. I've got confidence in Nola, which is always when he performs the worst. So we'll see what that happens tomorrow. But
yeah, you can kiss Ruben Amaro Jr.'s ass, buddy. All right.
Yeah. And you know what, man? I'll be the first in line to do so. It's just, you got to give that guy some run support. It's just too much pressure on him. But hey, hands up again. He's been delivering. It's just, you got to get some help from your other guys, other than Bryce.
Max, what's your biggest concern with this Phillies team that returns to Citizens Bank, even in the NLDS?
Honestly, I have to mirror what Josh says. The 1 and 2 spots, Schwarber and whoever has been at 2 have been bad. I'm not gonna mince words here. They've been bad in the postseason so far, and thankfully, 5 and 6 are essentially producing like 1 and 2 hitters. So it's almost like Josh said. It's almost like the game hasn't really started until we get to whoever's at 3. It's been JT lately. So I'm definitely concerned about top of the order production. And I guess the other thing is just kind of like, Braves are a boogeyman. They owned the Phillies in the regular season, and just because you nabbed one in Atlanta doesn't really change the fact that I don't want to rain on the parade. But if the Braves just win the next 2 games, they win 75% of the series, and they beat the Phillies like 64 or 65% of the time in the regular season. It's not that crazy to think. It's like, I don't want to do that. I think that I do think that the bank will be absolutely electric. There's no way. There's just no way that the people of Philadelphia are going to be able to control themselves on Cowboys at home Sunday Night Football weekend and Phillies in the playoffs at home for the first time in 11 years. Like, vibes are crazy high.
Whoa, and the Flyers home opener. Okay,
I mean,
let's not.
How could we forget? I was just trying to save that for our extensive Flyers talk later on in the show.
Yeah. I missed that in the rundown.
I just added it in. Don't worry, we'll get there.
Okay.
Those are the 2 things that scare me, because honestly, Josh, I want to go devil's advocate to you. The fact that the Phillies have had explosion games without needing the long ball is incredibly positive to me, because I always thought that they would get, typically teams that are feast or famine on the long ball tend to get kind of killed in the postseason by the really dominant pitchers. And that has not been the case this playoffs. And that gives me more hope about anything that these 4 playoff games have shown me than I have concerns about on the flip side. But if I do have to pick concerns, it's it's the 1 and 2 spot production. I almost disagree that he's going to change the line, just because that's not really Philly Rob's style. That's what I kind of think. I don't know. I'm not really sure. I'll say this. I'm very confident that Schwarber won't be moved. Whoever's at 2, I wouldn't be surprised to see maybe another shakeup there. I'd be pretty surprised if he took Schwarber out of the leadoff spot. And then, secondly, like I said, the Braves are, 1 of 2 boogeymen are dead in the playoffs already. Thankfully, the Padres handled the Mets. We handled the Braves, and dude, the hype train is full speed ahead.
You're right. Max, just 2 things off of that. I think you're dead on with the 1-2 thing. Like, I think Reese might move to the 7-6 area.
I think he needs to. If you're not going to bench him for a day, you gotta put him lower in the line.
Schwarber will stay in 1, but like, it feels to me whenever you get like the people like us and the WIP callers calling for Schwarber's head, he does something worthwhile. Like, it's when
you can't move him.
Okay, that's where that guy prefers the hit. Just leave him there, and we'll take that.
You can't move him. If you're going to do anything, I think you drop Reese to like 5 and just move everybody up. So it goes Schwarber, Real Muto, Harper, Castellanos, Hoskins, Bohm.
I think Hoskins has to go after Bohm.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
I'm dropping him in the lineup. I think that
Hoskins still has a good eye.
You don't mix up what's been working. And JT Bryce Bohm, or excuse me, the JT Bryce Castellanos Bohm has. That's not what you do to your.
That's not what you do to your guy, though. That's like Hoskins has to hit 5th. Like he is the locker room guy.
Let me throw this out there. Tough. We go back in time. Add Derek Hall to the playoff roster. He replaces Reese in the game tomorrow.
Damn, not a bad idea. You just have to invent a time machine.
Yeah, right.
Derek Hall train, getting more steam every day.
Well, if we're talking about people who are not on the NLDS roster. I think that's where my concern comes from, because after burning, I mean, Bilotti's been burned twice now, so he is not going to go game 3. Bilotti just can't throw. Dominguez has thrown 18 pitches. I think 18 pitches is low for Dominguez. I think he could have thrown yesterday if he needed to.
Okay. There's also been rest days.
If it was a tight game.
Everyone's good.
I don't know, man. I saw Thor in game 2. That's a little bit too. That's too early for me. I don't like that. Unless it was a mop-up game, I'm worried about this pitching depth if we need it, because anyone but Gibby 2022 is still a very, very strong campaign in this side of Pennsylvania. So I don't know. Hopefully Nola can go 7 tomorrow.
Everyone's fresh. Everyone's going to be so fresh tomorrow, I feel. Who'd they use yesterday? Alvarado?
Bilotti, Nelson.
So wait, no Alvarado tomorrow yesterday? I'm just misremembering that.
I will look.
I don't. They had
Alvarado warming up.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, they had him.
So I don't know. I hear you, Banners. I think in the grand scheme of the series, that's a big concern. I guess I'm like short-sightedly looking ahead to tomorrow, and like.
So it was. I don't know. It was just Bilotti and Syndergaard, and Syndergaard only threw one inning of 16 pitches. Bilotti probably cannot throw.
Yeah.
And there's just Nick Nelson still in your bullpen. Like,
it's embarrassing a little bit.
I'd feel a whole lot better, and this feels really weird to say this, but I'd feel a whole lot better if David Robertson was in your bullpen. But that still feels just weird to come out of my mouth. Let's see, really quickly before we move on to our next question. What should Philly fans not be concerned about, Josh? Real quick, one thing you are not concerned about. Don't worry about it.
I hate saying this. Oh, God. Do I mean this? Aaron Nola. It's Aaron Nola tomorrow.
Wow.
You're trying to talk yourself into this. You're not trying to convince the people.
Yeah,
I'm trying to convince myself of this. But if we're going to go based off the recent trajectory, and I think most of all, I think he's going to have, we know he's going to have the bank behind him. I think it's going to be everything. And I think you're getting 6 innings at max 1 earned run from Aaron Nola tomorrow. That is what you should not be worried about for game 3.
Wow. Bank it in game 3, Max. What should Phillies fans not be worried about?
Josh, when you started to second guess yourself about jinxing this, I thought you were going to take mine, because I'm not really worried about the Phillies defense right now. All the guys who have been suspect are playing with super high confidence. Bowman, Castellanos are the easy two to pick out. And, when you play with confidence, like, things just become easier. Like, you have a couple granted, Rhys Hoskins, that was really bad, right? Like, we'll get that out of the way. But I like to think in terms of positive regression. Chances are in the rest of this series, at least, there won't be one play that single-handedly essentially loses you the game, right? Like, that's pretty unlikely to happen again, right? If that's what it's yeah, right. Until it happens tomorrow night. But regardless, I think that other than Rhys Hoskins, right? Easy to say, other than your first baseman, I think that I'm pretty confident in the Phillies. Like, I'm not. I guess really what it boils down to is I'm not essentially basically shitting my pants every time that they're on defense now.
I can't.
It should be after the Rhys Hoskins stuff.
I still am.
I guess the Rhys Hoskins thing, because I didn't see it live. That was one of the innings I was actually tuned out for.
No, it was
I didn't see it live, so I guess it didn't scar me the same way. But
Max,
real bad.
Max, wait, let me explain it to you so I can so it can scar you a little bit. It was just one of those where off the bat
I saw it. I watched. I mean, I had to, when I saw all the Rhys Hoskins trashing on Twitter, I'm like, something did not happen.
It's Olsen. They always have a shift to that side. Like, off the bat, you're like, okay, we got a guy there, right? And it's like, oh, we do have a guy, and it's in the outfield, and it just, oh my God. And even if it hadn't hit off him, it was hit so hard that it would have been a tough play at the plate at least. And a quick follow-up about the defense. Has anyone tried to steal on JT yet? Has anyone even attempted?
Nope.
No?
I thought they were going to send Acuna, but they haven't. The Phillies have been very conservative, too.
Yeah.
The Phillies have been way too conservative on the base paths, especially with Darno behind the plate.
All the speeds at the bottom of the order, and 1 and 2 haven't been hitting.
That's a good point.
Well, they could have said JT was getting squirrely. Marsh was on the next inning when they could have sent them. It's just
that was was bad.
Yeah, you need to send
Lamar.
Marsh. That's kind of like
Yep.
one of his strengths. You need to. I don't know, man. That's quick on the Reese thing. It's, man, that is like so many first basemen in the MLB get away with it because they can, because they're in the MLB. But that is just like fundamentally like makes me want to pull my hair out. Like you're going backhand side, sliding. You're literally not even purposely, like you're intentionally not putting your body in front of it. There's no way he should not have knocked that ball down. You're in the NLDS, lay out, take the ball off the chest. I don't care if it's not pretty. Toss it to your pitcher who's covering first. That and is.
Sorry, not to cut you off. I should have worded it more along the lines of this.
No, I get what you're saying.
That they ever will be there, right? Like that was clearly just like you could have tried harder play, right? Like those are one of the things. Like this is the playoffs, man. Like people are going to say something to him about that, and everybody else is now on high alert because they saw somebody else who is a pretty well liked locker room guy get pretty chewed out by I don't want to say by his teammates and staff, but I think everyone is kind of aware that Rhys Hoskins play was pretty much the difference in game 2, right?
The shitty thing is it wasn't effort.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Nobody really trashed him publicly, but I just can't in good conscience sit here and be like, there's no way nobody on the Phillies roster said something to him like, hey, man, this is the NLDS. This is the playoffs. Like, leave it all on the line. You have months to recover after this.
I will say, I mean, he owned it. Topper owned it. Like Thompson didn't vouch for him. He was like, look, if you ask Reese, you should have made that play. Like I do have to believe if we get a regression of the mean, we get a Reese homer or something like that tomorrow. Like he's 1 for 36 going back to the regular season, I think. He made an error like this. He owned it. Some good's got to come out.
Some positivity.
Right? I don't care about owning it though. It's just like I don't care about owning it, though. I don't care. Like, he should have had a base hit yesterday that was scalded right at Riley. I really don't care about all that because it's not like it was a lack of effort. Like, he tried. He really did try. He just showed everybody that he's below – he just proved that he's a below-average defensive first baseman. That's not something that I can just get over. Not only did you prove it to me, you showed your work. Like, hey, I'm bad, and this is why I'm bad at first base. So, that doesn't –
the biggest game.
I can't just get over that. Like, you had a chance to go 2 up. You had a chance to go 2-0 and get your pitcher. Dude, the thing was Zach Wheeler was about to get through 6 innings in the NLDS with below 65 pitches. He was about to throw 8 innings strong, and you fucked him up. Like, there's nothing. I really don't care what he does the rest of the way because he's the reason why whatever happens. Like, that's just and for that to come from your first baseman, like who would have picked first base to be the defensive position that could change a series? Like, that's just not
Mr. Longest tenured Philly. He belong. Like, he needs this. Like, and he's been the one choking.
Yeah, like I can no longer listen to you say, "All right, guys, let's make the routine play." That no longer holds any weight for the rest of the postseason. I'm sorry, but it doesn't because you didn't. That's Big Dog. As much as you care, you're without a contract and you messed up in the NLDS. Sorry, buddy. It's tough. I don't know. What was I? Oh, the thing they shouldn't be worried about. They shouldn't be worried about Bryce Harper. I'm saying this because I'm trying to tell myself that because if you guys remember, I was worried before he came back, like the game before he came back from his thumb injury. I was worried about kind of the chemistry because they were on that huge winning streak. They had that month where I think they had 9 losses in a month. He's back. I mean, he's probably not going to hit 8 home runs in the playoffs, but he's right there, man. He's hit 3 balls the other way. Like, he's right there.
I'll say this to your point. This is the first time he's been in the playoffs since the Nationals won the World Series the year he left.
Did you see the they replayed the last time he was in the World Series? Or they replayed the last time he was in the playoffs in 2016 when they got destroyed against the Cardinals?
No, I didn't see that. I couldn't have told you what Bryce Harper's last playoff appearance looked like. I'll be honest. Yeah, it was 16 versus that Cardinals team. They literally showed yesterday, right before the start of the game, they put out all the highlights of that game where they came back and got destroyed in the 8th inning, which was fun trip down memory.
Oh my god, that one made me happy. I liked watching that. I remember that one.
Fun trip down memory lane. All right, who starts game 4, Josh? Who starts game 4 for these Philadelphia Phillies?
this is the $1 million question, right? I mean, oh God, I don't know. I think if you're Topper, you need to have like a flow chart based on the game tomorrow. I think it's one of three guys and a combination of three guys between Eflin, Syndergaard, and Bailey Falter. And when I say that to say, I think if you can avoid using Eflin tomorrow somehow, I would use him as an opener on game 4 and then try to match him up possibly with Falter and get some of the lefties there, because we've all been hearing it. Braves kill lefties. It's plain and simple. That being said, based on your own personnel, Bailey Falter is probably your best option. I'm not confident to say Bailey Falter for game 4 based on how the Braves hit lefties and based on how the Braves hit Bailey Falter specifically. So if you can avoid using Eflin tomorrow, I would use him as an opener, see if he can get through the lineup, and then go from there and see if Falter can eat up a couple innings and get into your bullpen. Having said all that, I feel like there's a really big chance that Eflin does have to pitch tomorrow. And if he does have to pitch tomorrow, I would consider going straight up opener, guys. Like Alvarado or Sir Anthony. See if he can get 1 or 2 for you on Saturday.
Or Saturday?
You can't burn Dominguez early.
What's your other option, boys? Your options are so thin. I mean,
it's probably Thor for 2 innings.
Say Falter and Thor for 2 innings?
It's probably just Thor for 2 innings.
You guys follow this stuff more than me, but like, you know, from the dumb fan perspective, I mean, didn't we trade for a guy like Noah Syndergaard so he could start in a spot like this?
I mean, even
regardless if the Braves light up left-handed pitchers.
Have you watched Noah Syndergaard's games? I just can't be confident in that guy to start game 4 of the NLDS for me. I can't. I mean,
confident is one thing. He asked you who you think's going to start.
that's honestly fair. I mean, I don't know. Do they pitch Gibson instead of Thor?
I think they might go Ranger on short rest.
That's too much, man. I would rather. That's too much, man.
Didn't Ranger pitch what, Tuesday?
Tuesday, Saturday. Wednesday.
Tuesday.
Thursday, and he pitched
Tuesday.
So Tuesday.
That's a good point.
Is Tuesday?
Why did I think of that?
It's Tuesday. Yeah, they go Ranger.
Playoffs, right? That's normal. Am I wrong?
No,
I will consider normal. Like short rest considered like normal rest.
It's shorter than regular season, but
it's probably Ranger in a 3-man rotation. But if they don't start Ranger, Josh, I actually really like the Eflin as I cannot see another game where Eflin is your closer in the playoffs. I'm sorry, I can't do it. My heart can't take it. It's just not. I can't do it. Where Dominguez is. I can't do it. I actually really like the Eflin as an opener into Bailey Falter when he gets when Eflin gets into trouble. I actually really like that idea because Eflin's just, no matter how much it would help us if he was stretched out, he's nowhere near stretched out enough to start. That's interesting. Max, who do you think is going to start game 4? Did we kind of work that out?
Yeah, I mean,
Ranger.
I guess at this point, after speaking it through, I'll guess Ranger.
I don't know why I didn't even think of that, because that's probably the objectively correct answer.
And he only threw like 70, like low 80s pitches as well. So
I wonder if that was part of the process of pulling him too. Because I didn't think he was. I know he was getting a lot, like letting a lot of guys on, but I didn't think he was that bad. It was early to go into your bullpen.
Yeah, he only threw 86 pitches. Yeah, he walked 5 guys though. That can't happen. But he did battle through it. So. Ranger will probably go game 4 if and when we get there. Oh, boys. Official prediction for the NLDS. Here's where we kind of take everything we just bantered about and tell us how many games do you think the Phillies need to win the rest of this series? Max?
Well,
wait, are you trying to trick me? Don't they need to win 2 more games?
Yeah. So I was like, what?
This sounds like a trick question. Are you just trying to get me to say something stupid?
No, I just want you to tell me that the Phillies are going to win. I'm trying to mind game myself into not predicting the Braves win.
Let's slay the boogeyman. Fuck it. Like, you're my best hitters. Two of my 3 best hitters. I'll clarify. 2 of my 3 best hitters are hitting like how they're supposed to be hitting based on the number of their contract. That's good enough for me. I'll take my chances. You got 2 games at home. I'll say this. I feel uneasily certain that tomorrow night will be a Phillies win.
Yes.
Wow.
I feel uneasily certain about it. But I feel equally as uneasily certain that if the Phillies are not able to close this game out or close the series out on Saturday, it's probably curtains.
Really? All right.
Wow.
I'm
So it's either Phillies in 4 or Braves in 5.
So Digits.
I'll say this: the Braves are like, this is my favorite cliche. The Braves have the heart of a champion. They are battle tested. They know what it's like to have nothing left to play for other than your last couple outs, right? Like, to me, there's a huge experience mismatch, and that's where it makes a difference. Where you win that one game on the road, and that gives you the belief that, like, wait, we have a winner take all game at home. There's no way we lose that. That's what happens when you win game 4 on the road.
I got similar logic, but opposite, and I'll expound. I'm certain the Phillies. There was no way the Braves were going to lose yesterday, but there's no way the Phillies are going to lose tomorrow. That's how I feel. Like, game 1 threw everything on its head. Like, I was shocked. Then after that, we all knew the Braves were going to win yesterday. I really think Nola gives us a good start. It's going to be rocking tomorrow. Phillies win. But I don't think there's a shot in hell the Phillies win this on game 4. I feel like Snitker kind of messed up. Like, he admitted Strider wasn't going to pitch game 3 and then immediately tried to backtrack. I don't know if you guys caught that on the live.
No, but I did hear him say that the Philadelphia atmosphere isn't going to be anything to worry about, which is the main reason why I'm so supremely confident that they'll win game 3, because it seems like he's not preparing his team for that.
So I'm banking on Charlie Morton starting tomorrow for the Braves, just based on Snitker's interview on. So, but what that means is Spencer Strider is going to start game 4 against either a short rest Suarez or some weird, funky opener.
The Braves will have a starting pitcher advantage.
Exactly. And I think it's all going to come down to, like, some hard tooth and nail 1-run game 5 on Sunday. And Digits, I hear your logic. I think you're right most of the time, but I'm sorry. I got to go down this road of the Braves have all the pressure on them. Phillies are playing with house money, and I think you get just a great hard-fought win. I'm going Phillies in 5 here. I don't think there's any way they can win in 4. I wish they could win it at home, but I just think it's going to be a day game. The Truist Park is not the same during the day. Phillies take care of business, buckle down, and we get Zach Wheeler on short rest, who really – I'm counting on Wheels, man. I'll take Wheels over Max Fried. Going Phils in 5.
Oh, man.
Oh, no.
You're going to Phils in 4.
Yes, sir. That's a smart man.
There's no way they win in 4. There's no way they win in 4.
I don't know, man.
Dude, the show is hot right now. I'm undefeated in the last sporting event I went to, and you guys are going to do the same.
Show's hot.
Feels like there's some juice here that I just don't know. Like, they don't have Freddie Freeman, and I think that's the most important part to me.
They're also a super young team.
That's a great point, Matt.
It is crazy how young the Braves are for being the defending World Series champions. It's crazy.
Yeah, because I mean, Harris replaced. One, they don't have Freddie Freeman. 2, Eddie Rosario's not the playoff hero he was last year. Also, Jorge Soler's not there to hit nukes anymore. Michael Harris and Vaughn Grissom are just completely new. They don't have last year's.
Vaughn Grissom, he's not even playing, is he?
No,
he's on the bench. He's on the roster, though.
He's on the roster. I know he was in game 2.
Yeah, they don't have the last year's playoff hero Tyler Matzek. They lost him to Tommy John. There's some juice here, boys, and I'm going Phillies in 4 here, and I can see Dominguez striking out. Oh man, who's he gonna strike out?
Dude, it's got to be someone like Austin Riley. It's not gonna be easy.
Gonna strike out. Who's he gonna strike out? I don't know. I think it's Michael Harris. I think Dominguez strikes out Michael Harris, the young gun, to end it on Saturday.
I'm really thinking on that.
All right. Well, I mean, hey, if it happens, if the Phillies close it out in 4 and Dominguez strikes out Michael Harris in the series, we got to clip that.
It's being clipped. I just want to see it. Like I think because you won't see, like, you might have to put out like an Amber Alert for me. I'm gone.
You don't get to see series wins that often. It's a big matter of timing.
All right, time to talk football. Time to talk football. And do we call this a trap game? Let's call it a trap game for the sake of
Oh, it
argument.
was a
The
trap
Birds.
game.
Absolutely a trap game. Definitely.
All right, so it's a trap game. So Max, do the Burbs survive a trap game or underperform enough to give you concern this past week?
I'll say it's definitely a little bit of both, but I'll say probably 55-45 survive a trap game. I know you weren't able to join us last week due to some vehicular issues, but I was telling Josh that I was supremely worried about the Eagles in this game, for a large portion of the fact that the following week is Cowboys week. Like, Eagles at home, Sunday Night Football, like, that's a big deal. That's a really big deal. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. That is a big deal. So you guys know that I hate the Cardinals. You guys know I think Kyler Murray and Cliff Kingsbury are two peas in a fraud pod together. But it was just so obvious to me that the Eagles would struggle in this spot.
100%.
The Cardinals, honestly, I don't want to say deserve to win that game, but you replay that game 100 times. The Cardinals definitely win probably close to half of those replays, I would say. I don't want to say they were lucky to get out of there, but they did look lackadaisical at times, which is kind of, I don't want to say been a theme because they've been allowed to look lackadaisical at times, but there have been lulls in the quality of play in basically every game so far this year. And through 5 weeks, that's enough to be like, I've seen this enough to know where that can be a big deal. And it hasn't bit them in the ass yet, but if in one of these slow 10, 15, 20-minute stretches of game time, they're not able to do anything. Not every team we play is going to match that same energy and just kind of not do anything. That's a lot to ask. Whether that's the offense performing and the defense not, or vice versa, it's happened both ways. So I think that the Eagles are still the best team in the NFC. Don't let this game, deter you from that thought process, right? Like, the Rams stink, the Bucks are not that good, and the Packers kind of stink. Right, like those are the other three big names you think of in the NFC, right? Like, no disrespect to your Vikings, but the Eagles already own that head-to-head this year, right? And it's kind of established that the Eagles have proven that they're above the Vikings. No disrespect intended. So I'll leave it at this. The trap game vibes were strong. The Eagles survived. That's what really good teams do. They win ugly, and sometimes they get a little bit lucky. Like, sometimes you hit a 60-yard field goal against your division rivals to kickstart a 2-month run of not losing. Sometimes an NFL kicker misses a gimme 41-yarder to tie the game because he has a lot of pressure on him and he has funky-looking shoulder pads. That's how the NFL goes sometimes. And this time the Eagles were on the right side of things.
Yeah, man. I like how you put that. I like how I'm just picking it up, Banner, man. I like how you put that. It's tough, man, because if you asked me this Sunday night or even Monday, I would have told you, wow, that was really impressive, in my opinion. It didn't look how I wanted it, but I picked the Cardinals all week. I picked the Cardinals last week. I'm going to pick them pool. I put the Cardinals down. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to do it, but I'm honest with myself. So I was impressed that they gutted it out. It looked ugly. They won the game. But as I've let this game marinate, as I've gone back and watched a few things about this game, I'm kind of concerned, guys. And I'm concerned because I'm going to say something that I haven't heard anyone to say because it's the words are just disgusting to utter. Here it is. Cliff Kingsbury outcoached Nick Sirianni and Shane Steichen on Sunday. Yeah. That's what I took away from this game. The Cardinals started blitzing the Eagles after the Eagles got their scripts. They put up their 14 points early. The Cardinals adjusted, and it worked. And the Eagles didn't have a response to that, guys. And the Cardinals did it by blitzing. And what's happening Sunday night? The Eagles are going to get blitzed by that Cowboys D-line and Micah Parsons. And look, I'm picking the Eagles to win, but I need to see something from Shane Steichen and Nick Sirianni that isn't a screen to Dallas Goedert or Quez Watkins. Because I, for the first time all season, feel like I've seen a problem with this team. It is not the personnel. The personnel I've got no qualms with whatsoever. It is for the first time this, and I love Nick Sirianni. I have totally flipped around. I'm not calling for his head. I just think, like, we talked about this going into the season. The book on Shane Steichen is he's kind of vanilla, and it hadn't been a problem when you have your good players making good plays. I'm nervous that the Cardinals may have started putting a blueprint together for how you beat this Eagles offense. And for me, the onus is now on Steichen and Sirianni to adjust to that. So, yeah, I'm actually concerned. I'm not freaking out there. I'm not freaking out at all. I just think I need to see an adjustment on Sunday because I didn't really see an in-game adjustment last Sunday, and that's why that game ended up being so close. Field goals, I don't think are going to beat the Cowboys, and it's regardless of quarterback.
It's kind of weird because like it took this long for teams to start like heavily blitzing the Eagles, even though that's kind of the book on like what teams do to Lamar Jackson. He's like by far and away the most blitzed quarterback in the NFL.
True.
But they decided to do it. And what's really going to be interesting is Parsons is like when you break down film on Parsons, his set foot, it's the opposite. So like his lead foot is opposite of what they teach. That's just because that's what he's comfortable with. So he's matched up his hands so well that like the tackles who have him out there on an island, it almost kind of messes up their 40. It almost kind of messes up their set because he's matched up his hands so well with his burst, but it doesn't look right to that tackle. Plus, he's an athletic freak and just a monster. So like. That defense is actually kind of good down there, managed by Dan Quinn. It's really weird. So I think
Michael Parsons is the defensive player of the year through 5 weeks, like straight up. Nobody
right now,
close.
yes,
there's not a close second.
By far and away. But there are some parallels to that Cardinals D. They have some athletic pieces in there and in the front eight. So I mean, Josh, you're right in saying that they got outcoached. But it's just not a talent.
Dude, that's terrifying. It's Cliff Kingsbury. That's terrifying, honestly. And I'm not worried. I think we're a good team still. We're going to win a lot of games. But, like, whoa. Like, that's
I think nervous. It was good, though. I think it was good to see that and be able to take that into film room and adjust. I can't see that many screens again. That many bubble screens. Just bubble screen left, bubble screen right. It's just, dude, what are we doing? Like, I get that's the tried and true way to beat the blitz. But at some point, it becomes not enough. So we'll see. This is going to be you know what, Max, I'm going to agree with you. I think it's a little bit of both. I think it was like it was a trap game, but it also underperformed enough to give you a slight amount of concern. So this is going to be a good one here. Leading into that, official predictions for this Cowboys game. It's a primetime game, Sunday Night Football, boys. Josh, here we go, man. And you know what? Give me this and give me a sub question off of it. Does it matter who plays quarterback for the Cowboys?
I'll get to that. I'll work my way backwards, I guess.
Take your time.
Let's start out with the W or L. I'm saying the Eagles win this Sunday night. I really believe they win. What's the number? 6.5 for the game?
I've seen 6.5.
6.5.
More than it could be.
Regardless, I don't think they cover. I really don't think they cover at all. I think the Cowboys would be a good bet. Obviously, I'm not making that bet, but we're going to get one of those games that is not enjoyable to watch as an Eagles fan. It's just, I feel like we've seen this game before. I do think we win. And I guess I'll work my way backwards, Banners, and say, no, I don't think it matters who plays quarterback this Sunday. I've heard a lot of people say they want to face Dak. Personally, I'd rather face Cooper Rush, but to me, when it comes down to it, I don't think it's going to tip the needle for me in any way in terms of spread, in terms of who wins the game. I think the Cowboys are just a really good team. I hate to say it. The Cowboys are a really good team. McCarthy's somehow been coaching well. We've been saying it, fellas. This Cowboys defense is actually really good. It's going to be a tough game. I think it's an ugly game, like a 23-20, a 24-23, like a close mid-20s game. But fellas, ultimately, I think it's going to come down to the best players on the field. It's going to come down to Jalen Hurts. I think Jalen Hurts needs this win big time. It's the biggest game of his whole career in the NFL. I don't think they're, other than, I guess, a playoff game, but I don't know. You can make this case that this game's even bigger, and you guys know how I am about the Duke. He's going to step up. He's going to step up when it matters the most, and I'm taking the Eagles. Let's say 24-23. It's going to be a razor's thin margin.
Okay. All right, so Max, flip those. Does it matter who plays quarterback for these Dallas Cowboys? And then tell me why, and then tell me your prediction for this primetime game.
Honestly, I don't think it ultimately does, right? I think that the Cowboys' game plan for this game in particular is probably the same regardless of who's at quarterback. I do think it'll make a difference because one quarterback is excuse me, whoa. Someone just got caught in my throat. One quarterback is tested in these kind of environments, and one quarterback, while he is, kind of taking the league not by storm, by by a heavy rain, maybe. Cooper Rush's only primetime experience is at home against the Vikings in what was a shootout. And guys who were inexperienced, when games are shootouts, it wasn't like a full shootout, but it was, there was some decent amount of points scored in that game.
It was not. It was a terrible game, and it was in Minnesota.
Really? Then what am I thinking of? No, he had one. Then maybe he had one game.
It was a primetime game. It was a primetime game, but it was in Minnesota. It was not a great game. Not many points were scored.
Regardless, that only helps my points. Regardless, Cooper Rush, not as experienced. I think he's more inclined to make a mistake. I think either quarterback will make a mistake. I love what the Eagles defense has done this year. I think that 6 points is too much. I'll take the Eagles something like I think it'll be more than a field goal, but less than a touchdown. So let's call it something funky. We'll call it 22-20 Eagles.
Ooh, that's a funky score. Okay.
Yeah. One team will have a funky score. At least one missed extra point in this game by either team.
So I think it matters who plays quarterback. Just because Dak can actually throw football. This Cowboys team has been they've been winning despite Cooper Rush. I think he threw for I want this number, but they've been winning games because of their defense. Cooper Rush only threw for, let's see, I'm going to have this number right here. Blah, 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 blah. Maybe I'm not going to have this number right here. Cowboys. There it is. Cooper Rush threw for 102 yards.
Woo!
102 yards. No touchdowns, no interceptions, and ran for -1 yards. So, yeah, it does matter. They've been winning in spite of Cooper Rush. So anybody who thinks that they'd rather play Dak Prescott than Cooper Rush, who threw for 100 yards against the Rams, take what you get. It's you at the end of the day, you play who's in front of you. But let's be honest, you'd rather play Cooper Rush every single time. That being said,
go ahead. Sorry, finish the point.
No, because I was going to get to my prediction. What's up?
Oh, no, I was just going to say, do you guys remember that game a couple years ago where it was Seahawks at Rams? John Wolford started the game, and then Jared Goff came in. That's what I think's happening Sunday night. I think they'll start Cooper Rush, activate Dak, and they'll be like, we can't do this anymore with Cooper Rush, and Dak's going to get into the game. That's my prediction on who actually plays quarterback. Because, dude, McCarthy said, the Cowboys game ended Sunday. McCarthy was like, yeah, Cooper Rush is going to be our quarterback. Like, nobody does that. Come on.
I think this is a 23-13 game.
Eagles?
I think it's Eagles. I think it's tight early, but then it's going away. He just can't really keep up, and that's evidenced by a 102-yard performance out of Cooper Rush. So yeah, I think it's a sweaty first half, boys. So like you said, Josh, I think it's a very unenjoyable first half to watch. But I think it's 23-13 at the end of it. It's this might go into halftime as 7-3, just a tough first half to watch.
The prize fight, they're feeling each other out.
That being said, boys, I might hedge myself and take the Cowboys plus 6.5 just to have. I don't know.
Feels like a good bet. If I didn't love this team more than I love myself, I'd bet on the Cowboys.
It just feels like a good bet to me. I don't know. It's talking to me.
Points.
Speaking to me a little bit. All right. Well, we all got the Eagles winning here. We're 3-0. I think I'm pretty sure everybody's perfect on the season for predictions. I think I think I lost. I think I chose them.
Now we picked against the Vikings. Digits and I did. I'm not sure if you were on that one, Banners.
I definitely picked the Vikings in that one, so that's 4-1 for me.
I picked the Vikings.
I'm gonna go back and put together our season records for that. I'm actually really interested in that.
Against the Eagles every week when they're winning. So.
All right, let's do it. Let's get into our favorite segment here, winners and losers, and it's where we go around the league. We tell you who won and we tell you who lost, and then we make fun of them because they're losers. as we always do, we're going to go around, tell you our losers first. Josh Safran, your loser for week 5 of the NFL season.
Oh my God! I mean, look, let's get the joke out of the way. Anyone who watched Thursday Night Football, okay, all right, we got that one out of the way. Broncos,
I'll be there.
Broncos, unanimous loser. Like, come on. But no, I want to do another loser, and I hate to do it. I really hate to do it. It's the Lions, man. Like, it's just, I feel like I picked the Lions earlier this year, but I'm doubling down. Dan Campbell's the loser of the week. I like him. I want him to succeed. He's clearly not that good of a coach. You just lost 29-0. I know you don't have DeAndre Swift. I know you don't have your
for 6 on 4th downs, which is the most in a single game since like 91 or 92.
Like, he's playing like a cartoon character of like what he thinks an NFL coach is like, and it was fun for a while, and he can still put up points. It's just the way that he has lost games this year are so like the way the Lions have lost games, you have to look at your coach. You're scoring all these points, yet somehow you just blow it game after game. And then this was like the magnum opus of the Lions season where you just get steamrolled by Zappy and Ramondre Stevenson. So, yeah, the Lions, man, they're my loser of the week. I hate picking on teams that are bad, but there was just way too much Lions hype for me to not call them a loser this week.
Max, a million, your loser.
My loser is the defending Super Bowl champion Los Angeles Rams because that offensive line is worse than advertised. They are so incapable of getting any kind of push up front. It's concerning. I'll say this. When I picked the Cardinals at the beginning of the year to win that division, I was like, I know it won't be the Rams. I feel great about that take. Do I feel great about saying it was to be the Cardinals? Hell no, I don't. But I feel good for saying that I know it won't be the Rams, and I was right. Matthew Stafford looks like a shell of himself, and if you haven't seen any of the maybe not so sure how jokey they are anymore, the Matthew Stafford only throws the white guy jokes, they are kind of funny, and they are kind of true. So the Rams they're not imploding because there's no internal turmoil. They're just collapsing. They just don't have any foundation. They get pushed around on offense. They can't run the ball. They get pushed around on defense. Aaron Donald is still really good, but that defense was playing from behind all game, but that defense just isn't as dominant. Whereas last year, I know that Rams defense would have got something out of Cooper Rush. They would have been able to stop the run at least once and made Cooper Rush throw. The Cowboys ran all over them, which kind of has been their Achilles heel the last couple of years under McVay. But the Rams look like a soft team. That's really hard to go from defending Super Bowl champion with dominant offensive line and defensive line to soft in a matter of a month and a half of competitive football games.
Well, Doug Peterson, it was fun, but you're good. What's up?
I left one for you. I hope you take it.
I know who you're talking about.
Now I need to think.
I left you a cheeky pick. A proper cheeky pick.
I was going to go. It's too easy. Like, I was going to go Doug Peterson's Coach of the Year because those are gone. Yeah, I mean, dude, whatever is going on in Green Bay, I hope it keeps going on, and I hope LaFleur gets fired, and I hope Aaron Rodgers gets all the protection in the world from whatever his girlfriend's name is with a color in her first name, and who actually had to make a public statement that she's not a witch, but she still cast protective spells on Aaron Rodgers. Whatever, dude. I hope you get all of that, and I hope it doesn't work. But yeah, no, my loser is going to be Doug Peterson's Coach of the Year. It was fun, man. I like the Jags. It's a cool young team. Devin Lloyd is a friggin' stud. I feel kind of vindicated about that. I was big on him pre-draft. Yeah, it's not going to work out this year, but keep trying. You got a good foundation. RIP though. Brian Daboll kind of has you by the balls here. Nick Sirianni close behind Brian Daboll in those odds.
Just need
winners. Time for winners.
The lack of talent to catch up, and we're there.
Yeah, they're playing their asses off for him, though.
Yeah, they are. They have
winners.
You thought the Eagles have had some bad wide receiver cores, not to get too far off track. You look at what the Giants have dealt with this year. Dear God, that is ugly.
So bad. Josh, your winner for Week 5 of the NFL.
Well, there's my winner. You guys are talking about him all that much. Is it not the obvious winner? Freaking it's Brian Daboll specifically. And like, look, I don't like doing this. I don't like Giants fans, but for the first time, it's like, oh, they don't have an idiot coaching their team. And even with all this horrible talent, I mean, you said it, Digits. I just think the Giants fans, you got to be feeling yourself pretty much. You got Saquon Barkley, the guy that you guys have been clamoring over. He's kind of playing up to his worth in the second overall pick or whatever. Brian Daboll is clearly the answer. I mean, just to see him come off the field in London like that, it had to have been such a good feeling for the Giants fan base who've been waiting for this. And I mean, the way they're winning these games, the teams, I mean, sure, they beat the Bears in there, but they beat the Titans, who are not as bad as we all thought they were at the start. They beat the Packers, who clearly aren't that good, but they got Aaron Rodgers. They're Aaron Jones. Like, they're not bad. So the Giants, what are they? They're 4-1. It's ridiculous. Yeah, Giants are the winners of the week.
Max, your winner.
This might be a little confusing, but the Carolina Panthers are the big winner of this.
Oh, no.
Major upgrade incoming at head coach and at quarterback.
Not our guy.
Baker Mayfield, 33rd overall quarterback in PFF so far through 5 games. Injured Temple legend Philip Walker will be starting. And if you guys remember the name Steve Wilkes, who interned for the Cardinals a couple of years ago, he will be taking over for them. Interim, sorry. He interimed for the Cardinals. I mean, he might have interned there. That might not be totally wrong. But he interimed for the Cardinals a couple of years ago. I don't think it's that preposterous to say that he surely can't be a downgrade from Matt Rule, right? No. Matt Rule, Temple legend, thanks for the memories. I mean, I'm not going to apologize to a guy who's making $850K a month for the next 4 years after his buyout. So I'll leave it at that. Sometimes you have to hit rock bottom to start building back up, and that's where the Panthers are.
$40 million to go sit on his couch and watch Red Zone.
And spit on
himself.
Matt
Rule is living a good life. Matt Rule is living a good life. My winner is going to be, who did I choose? The Jets, boys.
Yes.
Because the boys in green, gang green, are 3-2 behind Robert Saleh. And boys, don't look now, but Joe Douglas has been nailing some of these drafts. Some of the past couple. He is a very good track record in the past 2.5, maybe even 3 drafts since he got there. He's been 4 years now. I think since he left the Eagles front office.
This is his 3rd year, honestly. But
okay, so yeah, definitely last year and this year. But I mean, dude, Breece Hall and Sauce Gardner to top it off, along with Garrett Wilson. This team might be fun to watch.
They got an all-time draft class this year. Straight up, they hit on. I think they had 4 picks between the first and the second round. They hit on all 4 of them, and that's what that's how you instantly make your team. That's literally the difference between 5 wins and 7 wins. Is that simple?
Exactly.
Getting 4 guys with that much talent who are the correct pick.
And boys, I was about to make the statement the NFL is better when the Jets are good, but to be quite honest, I can't really. Well, I mean, there was those times with Sanchez, but let's just hope the Jets become relevant again. For my roommate,
at least one of the New York teams is bad, and they're both overperforming right now, and it's not as fun.
Yeah, I'm with you, man.
We'll see. Second half, let's get to it. Something, nothing, everything. You know how it works. I tell you something, you tell me whether it's something, nothing, or everything. Phillies 1-2, going 1 for 34. Josh.
Yeah, we touched on it. It's everything. Really, end of story.
Yeah. Max, something, nothing, or everything?
I'll downgrade it to something because I expect a change at the 2 slot. But I guess I probably should leave it at everything because Schwarber's underperformance is enough to escalate it to that status himself. So that's what I get for trying to be contrarian. I just talked myself out of that.
You took the words out of my mouth. I'm going to leave it at something because I'm not worried at Schwarber at this current second. That could check back with me in 20 minutes. I could feel completely different. But I'm going to leave it at something for now. Something, nothing, or everything. The Eagles are 1-5 against Dak Prescott since the Super Bowl. Josh.
It's something, man. It's not nothing. It's something. You see, if it was like a normal quarterback, I'd say it's nothing, but you see this stuff happen all the time in division specifically. So, I mean, going back to what you said, Banners, about how it does matter. Like I said, it doesn't matter, but maybe I'm talking myself into it does matter who's starting Sunday night because, well, 1-5 against him. I was at one of those 5 losses against Dak. He just has this team's number, and he's not afraid to do it in prime time either. So, yeah, I am. It is something. It's not everything. I still think we win, but it's not nothing.
Max, 1-5 against Dak Prescott since the Super Bowl.
It means damn nothing this week because Cooper Rush will be starting and playing the whole week.
Okay.
I think think about it like this. Jerry Jones loves himself a quarterback controversy, but he knows that Dak is his guy. Nothing makes that decision easier than Cooper Rush. I don't want to say get killed because I do think it'll be a low-scoring enough game where getting killed isn't isn't what we end up thinking of the Cowboys. But it's going to be an easy decision to say, hey, this guy just doesn't have the firepower to go to a place like Lincoln Financial Field in prime time and beat a really good team on the road. And I think it makes it an easy transition back for Dakota Prescott next week.
Dakota Rain Prescott. I'm going to say it's everything just because this means this could mean stuff for you're still probably going to have to see him this year. So like
True.
it or not, there might be some
whenever we play the Cowboys at the end of the season.
Yeah, there's some playoff seeding implications possibly on the horizon down the line. And it feels like that's just a team that could play spoiler and it would just create this whole soap opera drama. And I don't know, a lot of people like to say that's the problem of the last team and like the new coaches and this, that, and the other thing. And I oftentimes feel as though the burden is on the current team to prove to be the exception to the rule. You know what I mean? Like there's historical trends for a reason. Like we look at data for a reason. So you have to prove yourself to be the exception. I think they can, but as of right now, I think it's everything just because that's what the data tells me. I'm an analytical nerd, okay? Real numbers guy. Jesus. Giants being 4-1 somehow. Josh, something, nothing, everything.
For the Eagles, nothing. For the NFL, something. It's
Cool.
very two different things because I think if the Eagles play them, I expect a sweep this year, even though I've said that last year. And, well, that one game still haunts me. But, no, I mean, look, I do think it's something I touched on with Dable and Saquon. I think Daniel Jones has proven to be, such not a liability that they can, he won't lose his team games like he had in past seasons. So I think it's something for the Giants in the NFL, but for the Eagles, it's not anything. It's nothing. It's a mirage, as we say.
Max, something, nothing, or everything, these kind of miracle Giants.
I'll say it's something just because our division has the cumulative weakest schedule in all of football. Part of that is juiced up by the NFC Beasts' lack of success last year. But, just kind of the way the chips and the cards fell, the Eagles don't have a really loaded schedule, and they finished higher up in the division than the Giants did. So the Giants are going to get, third and fourth place teams from last year compared to the Eagles who are getting second place teams. I think it means something for both teams. Confidence plays a huge factor into things. Like the Giants will be confident when they play the Eagles again last year. They almost played spoiler to our season. They kind of locked the Eagles down defensively last year in that second meeting. Granted, much different team on both sides of the field now, but those things matter.
I'm going to say it's something because there's nothing more dangerous than a team that knows they don't have the talent but literally doesn't care because of their coach. Like if the guy leading you gets you to just throw out all of your just preconceived notions and just charge forward.
Good point.
That's dangerous, So they're a team that has absolutely nothing to lose and just wants to go out there and just run ragged for this guy. So, until they come back down to earth, which I think is on the horizon. They're going to be a dangerous team that kind of like they did this week, upsets a team who is not ready for a team that is just going balls to the wall. Last question in something, nothing, or everything. MLB postseason game times, Josh.
They're everything. They're absolutely everything. Now, not for me. I am for the most part, I just freelance stuff and during the day on the week, I got time. I watch the Phillies, but what the hell, man? Everyone works. You specifically have these games spread out, but then you still have the Phillies playing at 1 on a Monday. and then there were only 2 games today. Like, you're telling me we can't start the Dodgers game at 9, start the Phillies game at like 5:30. Like, it's pretty frustrating. And then even on a like, I'm going to be missing a lot of the game on Saturday. I'm calling 2 play-by-play games, and I'm sure there's a reason why it's not prime time. You got other games. It's just these start times are boggling. Tomorrow, I feel like tomorrow is right though. Tomorrow, a Friday at 4:30. 5:07 would have been a little better, but I can't be nitpicky here. It's just these times are weird.
Max, something, nothing, or everything.
See, I was going to say everything for the opposite reason. I love the fact that I have sports accessible to me during my workday. Baseball is prime example of background noise sport because you know something's happening just off sounds. Baseball is the most, it's the most like sonically, I don't want to say intensive, but you can gain the most of what's happening through the sounds of, even without the commentary. You hear a loud crack of a bat, you look down. You don't hear completions in football. You don't hear, you don't hear shots made in basketball, right? Like you hear things, you hear a crack of a bat, you look down at the phone. Other than that, you can hear the ball hit the catcher's glove. You can kind of make out from how much noise the umpire makes, whether or not it's a ball or a strike. You don't even have to look away from your computer. I'm loving it, but I will say that it is a questionable move for baseball, a sport that's, I don't know, we're not going to use the D word, but I'm sure that they would like to squeeze as much revenue as possible out of playoff games. That's the whole reason they added a 6th wild card team to each conference league. There we go, league. And it just is a little weird that they're starting all these games every single day at 1:00 and essentially guaranteeing that 2 games won't be that heavily attended by fans for the most part.
I think it's everything. I loved it. We're sitting here before we went on, or no, right after we went on the game. We got an alert. Yeah, it was 10 minutes after we went on that the game 2 between the Houston Astros and the Seattle Mariners had already ended. I love that. I love not having to stay up until 12:35 to know the outcomes of the West Coast games. That is amazing to me. I can watch like some of the young stars in this game, Jordan Alvarez versus Julio Rodriguez, at 5:00 in the afternoon. That is wonderful. I'm fine with it. I'll figure out how to watch it or keep up with it. I'm cool. Keep doing your thing. It's the only good thing the MLB's done in the past 6 months. Yeah, that's everything to me. All right, boys, we gotta get out of here. So let's tap out real quick. I had something come back to me. Who's got to tap out? I wanted to figure out what I was going to say.
I got a nice simple tap out. It's like a classic. Right. It comes up every year. October is just so simply the best sports month of the year, and I'm one of the bigger college basketball March Madness guys. But I think having the Phillies in the playoffs really ramps it up to a 10. When the Phillies are not in the playoffs, I hate to say it because I am a baseball fan. I could kind of do with that. Like I'm not locked into the playoffs. I'll tune in. Oh, let's see what happens there. But having the Phillies in the playoffs, it gets me locked into all the playoff games at the same time. Plus, we got NFL football. Couldn't care less about hockey. And to be honest with you guys, I don't even care about the NBA right now. Just based off those 2 sports alone, I'm saying it's the best sports month of the year. And then you can throw in the other 2 for people if it makes the argument. But that's my tap out. October, best sports month of the year.
All right, Max, you got a tap out?
Yeah, I'll just keep it really simple again. Just want to kind of shamelessly plug myself at Rotoballer NBA. Fantasy basketball previews, been cranking out articles, done a bunch of teams. If you like basketball, or especially if you play fantasy basketball, check out for my Twitter handle somewhere down there. Shamelessly plugging myself. This is the time of the year where I grind, and this is the whole reason I have my spot on the show, essentially, from way back when, is because I knew my shit about basketball when Sixers were terrible. So shamelessly plugging myself, and won't be quick programming note, won't be here next week. Enjoy the company of Josh and the Reverend, and we'll do NBA preview in 2 weeks. I don't care if you get mad that we're going to miss the first couple of games, because that's not my problem. I'm not missing.
You got priorities, man.
I got priorities. I got places to be. Yeah. Prepaid places to be. So NBA preview 2 weeks from tonight. Save your complaints that we missed the first couple games. I don't care. Preemptively tell
quick one. Yeah. Quick one real quick for RIP to Charles Bassey and Isaiah Joe, who were waived today.
Oh, yeah, we pour some out.
Feels like those were like cult classics that are no longer with the Sixers. And my main tap out is, dude, like, if you didn't think scumbags could scumbag any scumbag harder, you forgot Dan Snyder existed. This man,
how could we forget about that?
This man knew he was getting investigated and said, screw it. If I'm going down, I'm taking everybody with me. And I don't care. Everybody means everybody. If you're nice and you're a Christian choir boy, I'm going to pay somebody to make you dirty. This dude literally said, screw it, paid a PI when he was getting investigated. And you know what, Dan? Take the whole thing down, baby. I want it all. I want everything that everybody knows. At this point, just make the trial not like federal court or anything. Make it a literal public opinion, like trial of public opinion. Put this poll out on Reddit or something, and the masses will decide. We like Dan Snyder versus the NFL. Let's do this, because I want to just know everything on every side, because this could get wild. We're never going to hear any of it, and I'm really upset about it. But Dan Snyder to just have the balls to come out and say, yeah, they got shit on me, but like I got some shit on them too. And to name drop Jerry Jones, like the balls on this guy. I love it. I'm here for the drama. I'm here for the tea. I want all of it. That's going to be it for us. If you weren't here with us live, I'd assume you listen to podcasts, because most people of an age to have a cellular device listen to podcasts anymore. You can get us wherever you get your podcasts, Apple, Spotify, Anchor, anywhere in between. When you come back, according to us, at least, the Eagles should be 6-0. The Phillies should have won the NLDS. We won't have kept track of the Flyers. And the first two games of the NBA season have been played.
I can guarantee you that.
Yeah, so that's what you can expect next week, and we'll see you then. Have a good week, Philly. As always, we're brought to you by Mind Philly, where something's always new, and everything's always Philly.
Always Philly.